we looked at the establishment of KRA. We looked at the skills of the establishment as it were. We then identified that there was a gap, and one of the ways to mitigate that gap was to bring in this new cadre of employees. We then went ahead to ensure that the policies that needed to be amended were done, the organogram was done, the necessary approvals were done. We then gave express instructions to the management to be able to execute that particular mandate. So at the time when we were undertaking the recruitment exercise, there was already an advert that had been approved by the board. Everything else that the board needed to do had done, up to including obtaining the SCAC and the head of public service concurrence in those particular issues. I appreciate that in the process, we kept getting information insofar as the number of applicants were concerned. And there was not a point where it was brought to our attention that there was a bit of disparity on any of the people that had applied to warrant a change of strategy. However, I know for sure, when eventually our revenue assistants reported into the training camp, we were told that some of them were actually sent away for different reasons, either because they had some underlying health conditions, some of them had supplied papers that needed further interrogation to determine their genuinity, amongst many other issues. From where I sit, there could have been gaps in the implementation, but not an oversight or a failure or negligence on the part of the board. And I think, in all fairness, being a pilot project, like every other thing that you're pioneering, it's likely to have its own challenges. But it cannot be that the institution are handicapped to be able to actually address those concerns going forward. But most importantly, from where I sit, I think the records, the meetings, the engagements that I did in Kenya Revenue Authority are available for anyone to peruse, so that you cannot be able to say it can dent or in any way imply that I'm not able to discharge my mandate. So yes, I think there are issues that can be done differently, but there are always opportunities to learn, opportunities to improve. And that is how I would respond to that particular concern. Thank you.
Honorable Mamusi.
Thank you, Chair. I actually don't have any question for the nominee, maybe just some information. The DG is Tatiana Valovaya.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Dr. Fancy, Honorable Yusuf.
I just wanted to ask a last question, because the candidate is well accomplished in her field of specialization. And she's gone up to PhD to do it. And she says she's the first person from her community to have scaled that height. But isn't really a complete waste of her knowledge and expertise to be now sent to a position in a completely new field of which she is ill-equipped to deal with? She's a big fish now. But when she goes to Geneva, she's going to be a fish out of water, as it were, because of the lack of experience. So why is she making this kind of major life-changing decision to go from the peak of her specialized experience, where she spent a lot of years from a master's to a PhD, to a position that she is completely not well-knowledged, as she has admitted herself from her representation?
It's a question I was going to ask you too. So that will be the question that will summarize your submission. Dr. Fancy To, why you to Geneva, Switzerland?
Thank you so much. Allow me to register my sincere gratitude to the His Excellency the President for the nomination first, and to say that whereas, according to the honorable member of this House, Honorable Yusuf, he thinks that leaving academia in any way is leaving the water, it might be that I am actually going into the water. Because as a lawyer, once you are acquiring all the different skill sets that you acquire, you are versatile enough to fit into different spaces, so that you can end up as an academician, you can end up as a litigating lawyer, you can end up in many other things. So far from it, I actually consider this a great honor to be able to serve my country, to be able to also acquire a new skill set, polish myself, and grow in my quest to make my contribution as an individual. I strongly feel that I have what it takes to be able to competently, efficiently, and effectively represent the interest of this country as a permanent representative. Because of my qualifications, my experience so far, and like I said, I'm a natural leader, very passionate and committed in all that I undertake and put my heart and mind to do. And I want to promise this committee and this nation that if given a chance, I will give it my very best, and I will ensure that the representation of Kenya in all the multilateral organizations in the Geneva will get the best. So I promise not to let anybody down, but I believe I'm competent, capable of deciding this particular mandate. Thank you.
I will presume that was your final remarks.
Yes.
Feel free to acknowledge your husband or any other person who might have accompanied you.
Oh yeah, thank you, Chair. Like I said, I appreciate the engagements we've had, and I promise this committee, if you give me the chance and approve my name, I will give it my best. Yeah, in the audience, my husband is present. He's called Professor Tor, Wesley Tor. I have my sister and my brother-in-law, and like I said, there are many things besides just being an academician and an advocate. Thank you.
All the best, Dr. Fancy Tor.
Thank you.
You may leave at your pleasure.